boys and girls. It's Professor Sal, not the story gal. Today I'm Professor Sal the Science Gal. And you can tell because I'm wearing my green like a tree. I'm wearing my green lab coat, not my white one. That's for story time. But today it's all about science. I love science and I love experiments. And I'm so excited to get started with water experiments because they're the easiest to do at home. You can do this with your mom. So just find an old container. This was pretzels. You might have one that had crackers in it. Anything plastic. You could even use a water bottle and you can cut the top of it off, which is really easy to do. Mom, you need to do this, not the boys and girls. Oh, that's so loud. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Okay, if I cut the top of my water bottle off, I can take off the label. Oh, that's so noisy, isn't it? And I could just put water right in here and use this as my sink or float experiment container. Should I put some water in there? Okay, hold that thought. Let's get water in, just like that. You go to the sink, you fill it up. This would work too. However, I'm gonna use my big one. I have my big glasses on today. So look around the house and see what you've got. I'm sure everyone has a rock. We're gonna find out about something called density. Everything is made out of matter and molecules. When molecules get really pushed together, they are so dense that things will sink that are dense. Water has density, but does this rock have more density? So I have to think about this. Is it gonna sink because it's heavier, or is it gonna float because it's less dense? What do you guys think? Is the rock gonna sink or float? Okay, let's try it. Oh, if you thought it was gonna sink, you were right. Well, how about a feather? Sink or float? Is it less dense than the water? Okay, think about it. Sink or float? If you said float, you were right. That means there's lots of air in there. Oh man, this is kind of heavy. It's an orange, but is it dense? Like the rock is really all really thick stuck together. This is an orange. What do you think? This is a hard one. Okay, here we go. I'm not even sure. Sink or float? What? It floats. I thought for sure that was going to sink like the rock. Okay, what about a crayon? You guys have color crayons. I'm going to try this. Sink or float? Let me move that guy. Here we go. Okay, I think it's going to sink. Oh man, it sank but came right back up. It's floating on the top too. Okay, how about a pine cone? You probably have pine cones at home. Sink or float? It's floating. How about a pencil? Sink or float? It's floating too. What about a spoon? Let's get a spoon. This is made out of metal. Sink or float? You think sink? Okay, let's see. Oh, if you said sink, you were right. What about, this is just a bottle cap off some juice. Do you think it's gonna sink or float? This time I'm gonna put it in the little cup. If you said float, you were right. Look at that, it's floating. Okay, what about the rock? Remember, is it dense? Is it gonna sink? Let's try it. Oh, it did sink. So this is a simple, easy experiment you can do at home. Experiment. It's when you just try to figure out things by putting things together and seeing what happens. What's the outcome? So we learned today that density is something that makes molecules stick together, and if it's so heavy, it's going to sink. Otherwise, it might float. Stay tuned for some more water ones in just a couple minutes. Bye, boys and girls. Come back.